Yo, 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 it's your boy Will Waldrop on the Back Pew and my co-host Ethan Munoz, and we are the Back Pew.
El Back Pew.
We welcome you to the last episode of this season, Season 1. We thank you for listening. 43 episodes deep. We are having a great time. This is not the end of our podcast, but we are going to take a Christmas break, fuel up, prepare, get some content prepared, and then come back strong in the new year. So this episode, number 44, will be the last of Season 1. Thank you for listening. We actually have a great episode planned for you, and we know you will enjoy it. But after this episode, be sure to go catch up on old episodes while we take our little break. It'll be about a 5 or 6 week break. And in the meantime, we'd love to stay in touch with you, so feel free to reach out. But Ethan, how are you, sir?
Bro, I'm good. Gucci Mane burn.
Gucci, man. Dude, I'm
Gucci.
so excited about this episode. Like,
Me too.
I got a little nervous right before we started recording. I'm super pumped. Did you? Do you ever get nervous anymore?
Not really, because I've like edited myself when I messed up, so like I know that I can really flub and then fix it.
So, yeah, for sure.
But I know we started I started with a little stupid dance, and then you actually like went into it, and I thought you were kind of kidding, so that kind of threw me off. So I need to like amp up, go to pump.
Yeah, if you're watching YouTube or if you're listening, one of my favorite things I learned this at Global Ventures is to raise your hands above your head. And this is a power pose. So if you're ever feeling inferior or insecure, you should just raise your hands above your head, and then you feel powerful. And sometimes, every once in a while, I have to go in the bathroom to do that really quick.
I don't know about all that. I don't.
It really do it right now. Try it with me. Everyone listening, do it with me. I feel powerful. Do it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Stretch. 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you feel?
Feel the same.
Well, it actually works for me. I actually heard it in a TED Talk years ago. And
hey, what you hear in TED Talks is true.
Dude, I have a friend that went to rehab, and he told me every day when they went to rehab, they had to watch a TED Talk. He said TED Talks suck. He hates them, which I'm actually, you know what? As much as teaching and podcasts I listen to, I think people assume that I do love a good TED Talk myself. And there's 1 to 5 that I like really have enjoyed, but I really don't enjoy them either. I want to encourage you guys right out of the gate. We can talk about a couple of things. We're going to hit Kanye being at Joel Osteen's.
Going to hit Kanye?
Yeah, I mean, him being with Dr. Dre, Jesus is King Part 2. I want to get into that. I mean, some comments people have said, that type of thing. I want to read this verse that was in my Proverbs yesterday, and just want to encourage everybody because, lately, yesterday, I don't want to give too much background because it's not necessary, but yesterday I recorded a podcast for Strong Life. She kept telling us about why she loved her husband when she met him, because he was a man of depth. Well, lately I've been complimented about being a man of depth myself, so my ears perked up. And then yesterday in Proverbs 19, verse 27, I read this. I don't remember what translation, but it says, "If you quit listening, dear child, and strike off on your own, you'll soon be out of your depth."
Depth.
And so I was like, ooh, depth. There's that word again. And so I looked, and then I read it again, as I do whenever I do my scripture reading. Whenever something hits me, I'll read it again, right? You do that?
Yeah.
No, you
good
just
Christian, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're a good Christian. You're a good Christian.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I was just like, man, so let me tell you, I've been tempted at times. I don't know about you. It's probably just me, right? To go my own way. I know I'm Will, and I know I call myself God's will, but let's be honest. I'm not always feeling like doing God's will. You know what I'm saying?
You feel like doing Will's will. And
so lately I've been getting a lot of compliments, and, I just, I didn't take it to heart, but I've just been really evaluating, like, why am I deserving of these compliments?
What kind of compliments do you get? Like, you were smart,
just
you was
about
kind.
My character, stuff like that,
like
just
you
character
was smart,
traits. Yeah,
you was
smart,
kind.
you was important. Yeah, you was smart, you was kind, you was important. I love that. I'm going to watch that over the holidays. So anyway, all I want to say is I just have been thinking about it, and then mixed with this verse, and I felt like God was saying, yo, I know you think you smart, and I know you've been getting these compliments, but like if you go do this without me, you going to be at your depth real quick, son. That's what I heard the Lord said. I heard the Lord say, just like, yo, son, you're going to be at your depth real quick if you keep messing around trying to do stuff without me.
He's
you
like,
hadn't
that
gotten
jacket
this
is
far.
tight, son.
You hadn't gotten this far because of your looks or because you're so smart. Remember, you dropped out of high school twice. So everything that I have good in
And
me,
you ugly.
whether it be you ugly, you ugly. But
You ain't got no alibi.
I believe even the good looks that I have, whatever ones I have, whatever smarts I have, because like I've told my testimony in the past, my brain was shattered. I was super broken. I believe God restored that. And then all the leadership capacity, abilities, skill sets, whatever I have that I'm walking with today is only a result of seeking Christ. So every good thing within me, I assure you, comes from knowing Christ. And so he is worthy. So I want to encourage you that you probably are in much similar situation than me, right?
Yeah, you ugly and you're a failure, and the only good thing about you is Jesus.
Makes you. Let's be honest. Jesus just makes you more attractive,
dude. You know you're not wrong because I'm not all that smart and I'm not pretty, and Haley's like, Richie's being real serious about the compliments. Like, I'm glad you're my husband kind of compliments when she's being serious.
Yeah,
because sometimes we joke,
Yeah,
but when she's being serious, she's like, I asked for you when I was younger. I want a husband who has dark hair. And he loves Jesus, and he takes care of me.
And his last name is Mew 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 Mew. No, that was my favorite clip from last episode because you hated it so much.
I still hate it.
I know, I'm sorry, but it's probably the only time I've actually. I don't like to pick at people when it bothers them, but that's funny.
That's
to
a
me,
lie.
So.
That is a lie.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I should evaluate myself. But listen, I just want, the holidays are coming up, and you're going to be spending a lot of time with Jesus. I mean, excuse me. You probably need to spend a lot of time with Jesus.
Yeah.
But you're going to be spending a lot of time with family and people that maybe you're not used to spending time with, especially if you're a Christian or you have beliefs that maybe are different from theirs. It's a little bit, trying at times. So I know the struggle, being at home for Christmas or whatever for the holidays. So I just want to encourage everyone, Jesus is there to help you. Listen, I want to tell you this, right? This is from today's reading. Stolen bread tastes sweet, but soon your mouth is full of gravel. All that means to me is you can do things your own way, but sooner or later, it's not going to be as fun as you thought it was in the first place. So
my point, kicked in the mouth with some rocks.
I mean, I don't want, rocks in my mouth or gravel.
I don't want to get kicked in the mouth with rocks.
So I just think that I just want to share, listen, there's one more verse I want to share right out of the gate, right? And it's also from Proverbs, but not from this same chapter. It's Proverbs 4. It says, the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. And this is the verse I want to mainly stick out to you. Cherish her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will give you the garland around your head and garland around your neck and grace around your head, present you with glorious crown. Listen, my son, accept what I say, and the years of your life will be many. Instruct you in the way of wisdom, and lead you along straight paths. When you walk, and your steps will not be hampered. When you run, you will not stumble. And so all that, I want to say, the main verse in there that stuck out to me is cherish, right? Because if you're not, here's the thing, right? The reason that we don't spend more time with God is because we're just not furiously in love with God. It's not a matter of discipline. It's not a matter of you're too tired. It's just if you just love God a little bit more, and this isn't condemning, you would just like to spend time with it. When you're in love with somebody, guess what? You make time to spend time with them. Am I wrong?
That's true.
I mean,
no, you're not wrong.
So
yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's just motivation. You kind of become obsessed and fascinated with this person. So if your relationship with God is not that, all you have to do is spend a little bit more time with God, that person. And as you do that, you're probably going to find more and more qualities about God that you love and find a bigger desire within you to spend time with God. So all of that little, TED Talk is all that
TED Talk, yes.
Inspire you to spend time with God, because you know what's going to help you through the holidays whenever you're struggling with that family member? That peace and joy that comes from spending time with God in His Word and in His presence. So yesterday we had this lady on the podcast, and she was so amazing. But guess what? She said a lot of great things, but none of the things that she said was really what inspired me. It was just the fragrance of Christ in her presence, because she had been in His presence, right? So I just was really inspired by her, because I haven't been around a lot of people that just carry that fragrance in a while, So, man, just know that whatever you're going through, whatever, Just go to Jesus through the holidays, man. That's the main thing. Like if you shut it off, go ahead. But you got encouraged on the Back Pew, so
You
we
got
appreciate you
encouraged
for
on the
listening.
Back Pew. That's right.
That's what I got for you. So
That's
how you
right,
feeling about that? I mean, do you struggle with family members, or is yours just like all jolly and good food and good times?
Mine's pretty jolly and good food.
Dope.
But only because I want it to be. Like I could struggle with some of these people.
Sure.
You know, they're all as dumb as me. If they're all as smart as me, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I didn't really have a lot of family drama growing up. If I did, it was extended family. So I just kind of sat back and looked at him like, okay, y'all are weird. I'm glad I'm not on that side of the family. But no, I mean, I appreciate the encouragement. It's definitely a good word. Definitely need it because I've been sick since like Wednesday. I've been sick almost like a whole week, and you know, my antibiotics started kicking in over the weekend, and I got a shot, and it hurt, and I'm good. I mean, I'm getting better. But right at the end of me being sick, Haley got sick too. So I had to take her to the doctor. She had to miss work. I had to take her to the doctor. She got strep. And so we're just like, our routines are off, you know, like the antibiotics that mess with you. And then you sleep all day. You stay up all night, like all this stuff. It's just a hassle. And playing hot potato with the baby because we don't want to get the baby sick, you know. Toss her over to grandma's. But, I mean, at the same time though, like we had, I went out with my friends, celebrated my birthday. Hadn't seen some of them in a good while, so it was good to hang out with them. Then we had a family member's birthday, and my financial aid refund came in, so that was word. Oh,
sow a seed in my ministry.
Waldrop Financial Services.
Yes, I also have Will Waldrop Ministries. So.
Oh, you do?
Of course. If you're watching YouTube, you can see my logo here. Empowering Nations.
WW.
Go ahead. It's been on my phone. Speaking of keeping the vision alive in front of you, I've had that on my phone for years, and it really helps. Anyway.
Nice. But yeah, no, I mean, I definitely need the encouragement. So, I mean, I appreciate it. I know I've been thinking about the holiday season coming up, and man, I don't remember if it was like a social media post or if it was like a devotional that I read or something, but it said that, you know, rejoice in the Lord always doesn't refer to, you know, a lack of things to be joyful about, things to be thankful for, but rather it refers to the fact that you can lose sight of it, a lack of perspective to see the things, you know, because he's not going to tell you to rejoice in the Lord always if you can't, like if it's just impossible, you know, but he's going to tell you to do it because you can do it. So that means that there's always something to be joyful about, even if it's just salvation, because that's the best thing. That's what the, you know, the whole point of Christmas is the greatest gift. But well,
listen, let's talk about that for a second. Are you getting off topic?
No, I was going to change it up, but if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about it. Hammer it out.
On the Strong Life, right? We're doing these strategy meetings, and so Strong Life, what does that mean, right? So we're not getting into that, but the conversation comes up because Ollie was saying, you know, it's a strong life, it's a happy life. I'm like, yo, you got to stop saying that. You know, I'm not saying that it can't be in the conversation, but you got to
stop saying that.
Yeah, for sure, right? And he was like, well, why? So we had this long 30-minute debate about what's the difference between joy and happiness, right? Of course, it's a Christian thing, right? And they're Catholic, so they believe in the Bible too, right? And then so they are all bought in, but Ali wasn't really following for a minute. And so anyway, I actually did a poll online, like what topic should we talk about? And he encouraged me to bring that up, you know, like he's, of course, the greatest guest we've ever had on this podcast, episode number 9 or 11, right? He was on the show.
I think it was 11. Yeah.
11, yeah. So anyway, and that episode is actually about his, converting from Muslim to Christian. So check that one out. But anyway, you know, so let's talk about that, because what I'm talking about as far as being encouraged through the holidays, dealing with family members, spending a lot of time with them that maybe you're not used to, and getting into those political conversation, religious, whatever the case may be.
My forte.
You know, it might be the difference in, do you have joy and peace inward, or is your circumstances controlling your emotions, right?
Yeah.
So
me and Haley were talking about this recently too.
Well, let's talk about it. So what's the difference? How can we maintain, is what I'm saying about, you know, what I encourage through the holidays, how we maintain joy, and what do you think the difference between joy and happiness is?
Joy and happy for me joy is because it's a fruit of the Spirit. It's more like faith. It's a choice. Whereas happiness is an emotion. It's a feeling. It's a sentiment. So based on that definition or that difference between them, I can say that in this moment where I get $500 for no reason, woo, or, I got a raise at work, or I get a new car, that's happiness. And I am rejoicing because, that makes me joyful, full of joy. But in the moments where I'm losing $500 for no reason, or I lose my new car, I might not be happy because
stuff happens.
Circumstances changed. Yeah, my emotions change, my reactions change, but I can still be joyful. The joy of the Lord is my strength. All of that stuff, I can still go back there. But that's a choice. And I think a big difference too is that you can still be the Proverbs. It says a joyful heart has a cheerful face. And so you can kind of see on people when they're joyful.
Makes the countenance glad in the New King James.
Countenance glad, yes, that's what I was trying to think of. But it looks the same. But when you hear people talk about it, or when you see what they're going through, you can tell that the joy is different than the happiness. The happiness comes and goes. The happiness is a fleeting thing. But joy is the foundation. It's like faith. It's a foundational thing. So when you're going into political arguments, or you're seeing that cousin that knew that boyfriend that you broke up with, but now he's your baby daddy, not your cousin, the boyfriend. But just something awkward situation. Your aunt calls your mom out and you're standing in between them. Like, you just don't want to deal with that. You can still have joy and just kind of water off a duck's back. That would be my recommendation. I'm sure some people would want to fight. Some people would want to put their 2 cents in. And I feel like if you still walk away from the situation with kind of like that same attitude, water off a duck's back, then you're good. But for me, I'm like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. The water is off my back. I am a duck. Quack, quack.
Well, I love Aflac, right? So
I love Aflac, dude.
But so here's
actually, aren't they your competition?
I love what you're saying, but actually,
aren't they your competition?
They're not really much
more
competition. Not really. And actually, we sell nationwide.
Anyway.
But anyway, so.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry. Off topic. My bad.
No, it's all good. So, good question. If you need any insurance, life insurance, dental, cancer, any of that, call me. So
only for old people.
I sell it. No, actually, I sell it for you too. But anyway, so
I tried to get some from you, and you told me no. Yeah.
For health insurance, that's true. Anyway, so
Let's
I want to say is
about
what
it.
you're saying is mostly true, and I'm encouraged by it nevertheless. But what I want to say is to pick it apart. Because that's what we do, I guess. What that water off a duck's back is actually, I think, more centered around love being in your heart in the fruit of the Spirit, and more of the peace being. I don't think it's more of a joy, because I think joy is actually smiley and actually not happy. But I mean, I think joy is laughter, right? I don't.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And I think it's actually beyond. I believe in the power of choice, right? I posted a clip literally today from Amy being on the Strong Life podcast, and she says, I love waking up and choosing happy, right? And I love that, because any motivational optimism, quotes, people you listen to, all they talk about is like, you can choose, like it's a choice, right? But also, I agree with that. And what we're talking about is a choice. Yes. But I believe that people that don't know Christ have the power to choose, right? To continue to be happy anyway. But I think one of the things that separates people that have the fruit of the Spirit of knowing Christ and seeking Him is actually they have a strength, an inner strength that comes from Christ and His presence filling your life, that actually gives you a greater joy and stability and peace and love that is beyond a power of a choice. It actually empowers you to make that choice, not just in your own strength, but in His ability. It's grace.
Yeah, you choose you choose to submit to His grace. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that. I think it's important, because that's why I'm encouraging people to cling and cherish to the Word of God through the holidays and any time, but especially in this time where tis the season to focus on the celebration of His birth and what He's done for us and our Savior. So, like, why not focus on that? And in the meantime, there's blessings and benefits and fruit of the Spirit that comes from when you plant a seed in your heart, the Word of God, it grows up to be peace and joy. So your life's just going to be better.
Yeah, no, and I don't mean water off a duck's back, like ignore it or don't address it or just kind of walk away in this awkward situation. It's more like you smile and you laugh it off and you don't let it bother you, and you go to bed without thinking like, man, Auntie so-and-so really ruined Thanksgiving this year. Yeah, because people talk about that, or like when so-and-so leaves for the afternoon and then the evening side of the family comes in. Can you believe what they did? I know. Or like all this stuff. Like, just don't let that get in you, because it's going to mess with your joy. when you go into a conversation and you want to talk bad about something, guess what? You're not coming from a joyful standpoint. I mean, things are going to get brought up, and you might have to answer a question, but
hey, atheist,
go into
if
it
you're
from
listening,
a better way.
Guess what? Even if you don't believe in any of this and you're just here for kicks and giggles, like, check it out. Or you could just not engage in the conversation that's going to go awry. Like, I recently got in a conversation with somebody about politics, and
was it me?
No. And they just said, you know what? Actually, I don't really engage in political conversations, and and I said, actually, you know what? If you disagree, it's a safe place. It's fine. I'm not going to argue with you because I refuse. Like, I cherish and I valued the friends and whatever. I value relationships over your political stance. Like, actually, I'm not here to argue with it. So you have your opinion. I'm not going to judge you for your opinion, and we can actually share our opinions because we have a relationship and we're fine. Like, I'm not going to argue. And this person was just kind of taken back, like, wow, that's not very common. Most people, if they want to talk about it, they want to argue.
They want to.
I walked in, the TV was on today, and I saw them talking about some politics, and it's just so exhausting. I don't know how you watch it all the time, Ethan. I really don't.
I really don't. I choose. That's what me and Haley were talking about, was like, how are you going to let something that's happening in D.C. or in Austin, because I'm in Texas, or in OKC, you're in Tulsa, how are you going to let something that's that far away dictate your Tuesday? Like, all you have to do on Tuesday is show up at the office on time, make sure you bring your lunch so you don't spend that extra money, and don't pee on yourself in front of people, and then go home. Like, you're good. Just, don't mess up your day, but you're going to let something that's President so-and-so, or, dictator so-and-so on the other side of the world, or some political pundit. Usually it's not even the people they're talking about. It's the people talking about the people they're talking about, if that makes, people on Fox News. Like, they're not politicians. They're just reporters. And then they make you mad, and then you're mad about it, and then you don't realize that you're mad about it until you told 3 people at the office, and it's like, you're spreading all this fluff that doesn't matter. And I was like, yeah, I know, I get it, and I agree. But you said, I don't know how you listen to it all the time or watch it all the time. And I don't. I try to be educated on the people and their jobs. And if something comes up about that person, then I will be educated enough to say, I should probably read that. Or I'm going to save this for later and read it while I'm on the pot, like, because I think some of it is worth knowing. Some of it you have to be educated on. I mean, you got to know where you live.
Listen, we live in this country. I think it's our duty,
there's some things that are duty. Some things are just not worth it, though. And so, and I get what you're saying, but my answer is that I can only do it if I stay educated enough. If I start to realize that I don't know who I'm reading about, I'll put it off until I can educate myself, and then I will go into those situations. But like you said, that's not common. Talking to that guy, you're not going to judge him, yada yada. That's not common, and neither is the way that I look at it, because people think that since I know about it that I'm going to argue about it, and that's not necessarily true. I'll let you spout your poison, and then you can leave. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, give people an opportunity to get it off their chest, and great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what's
Deuces.
crazy is, like, people really don't know how to have relationships with people that they disagree with, though. I believe that is the main reason that people are so stuck in this group think thing that I keep referring to. It's not because they just don't know how. They don't know how. It's because they want to be around people that agree with them, obviously.
Yeah, and they want to feel good, and like arguing doesn't, or being called dumb doesn't, or being just not even called dumb, just called on the carpet. That doesn't feel good,
Yeah, people want to be right. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Well, people don't like to be called.
You know what? Bring it around. Talk about something that you agree with. Bring up old good times that you had with your family members or friends. Like, just stay away from topics. If you think it's going to be a problem, just do everything you can to guard your peace. Right? There's a scripture in Psalms 34 says, "Seek peace and pursue it." Right? And then there's other verses that talk about protecting it. Right? Even in the verses that I just read from Proverbs 4, similarly says that. And it's like, man, I value my peace. I'm not going to have a conversation that I think is going to disturb it or harm our relationship. I'm not interested in that. Like, if it's not furthering, if it isn't helping glorify Christ, or it isn't helping our relationship grow or edifying anybody, then there's really no need unless we have to talk about it.
Yeah. And I think there's a space for that. That's why I try to stay as educated as I can be. or have the space to be, have the capacity to be, because I think that some things need to be talked about. Some things are going to be uncomfortable, but I do like, do you value your peace?
A lot of people don't. A lot of people are so toxic, they value toxicity.
They do.
Like, that's what they want. They can't live without it.
That's where they feel the comfort.
Which is so strange to me, but yeah, man, for me, I've always been that way. Like, because I grew up in a household when I was a child, there was a lot of fighting with my family members, like my parents, my brother. It was all the time chaos. No, it was definitely arguments, right? Loud voices, words being exchanged that were not friendly or loving. And so I grew up around a lot of that. So I think I naturally have a bend in my emotional well-being to do it, but also because of the peace, because I think you can talk about peace in two different ways, like the peace of God that surpasses understanding that comes in your spirit, and then there's just peace right around us,
right? Like still waters.
Yeah, sure, that's funny.
Yeah, just chilling.
Somebody was talking about that today, but yeah,
just chilling.
It's just, man, I want to value both, because my thing is kind of like that verse where it says, if you go and do your own way, you'll soon be out of your depths. It's kind of like, look, if you want to go do it your way, you'll soon not have that peace that you've been so used to having. Like, even Keith Moore, he asked God to lift the anointing so he could see it, right? So then he went to play the piano. Well, he couldn't even play the piano. Well, that's not really an anointing. That's actually a skill set. He was like, no, you don't understand. Like, just grace on your life to live is actually on your life, not just to preach or play instruments. And then, and that makes me think of something I heard before where, like this, it's like a joke or a metaphor or whatever, and it's like, this scientist is talking to God, and he was like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. We can clone now. We can get rid of cancer. We can do a lot of stuff. We don't really need God. So he was like, cool, that's fine. If you want to have and so I think either God or the scientist was like, let's have a contest. And then he was like, well, let's see who can make a better human. So then they go, sure, let's bet. So then basically the scientist, God said, who can make a better human out of dirt? So then he was like, the scientist said, okay, game on. And then he went to go get dirt, and the God was like, oh no, like, get your own dirt. Like, this is mine. So it's just like the things that we take for granted that are already ours. God gives us the ability. Like, I read something else. I don't, it inspired me. I don't know if I totally love it because I hadn't processed it yet, but it said something like, mercy is what woke you up this morning, because if judgment woke you up, you wouldn't have woke you up, right? You would have died because of your sin, essentially, And anyway, we have a lot more grace than we ever really acknowledge all around us.
And I'm glad you're talking about that, because I said this kind of what I wanted to talk about going into the holidays. I know we were going to talk about like holiday traditions and stuff, but Thanksgiving is like giving thanks, right? Thankful minded. Everybody, the common tradition on TV is everybody goes around the table and says what they're thankful for, right?
I've never done that ever.
I've only done it a couple times. It's not a tradition. We do it. We've done it before. We haven't done it often. But, and then right after that is Christmas. And Christmas, in the Christian sense, because we've had this conversation before, that it's not actually it's a pagan holiday. Anyway, but the point of it, the reason for the season, all this other stuff, it's, we take the time as Christians to celebrate Jesus coming to earth and redeeming us, right? That, the Bible says in Romans, was grace. So thanks and grace. And I don't think that it is a coincidence that these holidays are celebrated in the same quote unquote holiday season, like Grace Day and Thanks Day. There's not a coincidence that they're conjoined by the same number of days. I think it's like 30 days, and then 25th, and or
it's actually not
whatever. I know,
but yeah,
this year's the weird one, whatever, 28th or something. I don't know. Anyway, here's the thing: you got to always think about. There's something new that dawned on me. I want to say you always got to think about it because I think it's really important, but you really don't, because I made it this far without thinking about it. But it's not grace if you're not thankful for it. If you think that you're entitled to it, which is the opposite of being thankful, then it's not grace. You deserved it. Grace is unmerited. Grace is not deserved. Grace is you didn't work for it. You didn't earn it. And the only way to receive something by grace is to do it thankfully.
Dude, I'm getting excited just hearing you talk about it.
But like it just, when I heard it, I was like, oh, 2 + 2 is 4.
Right.
I knew that. I don't know why it didn't hit me earlier. But so when you go into this Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving's first, go in thankfully, and then when Christmas rolls around and you're out there Black Friday shopping and Cyber Monday shopping, and you're knocking out your Friendsgiving, right? You're knocking out your friends' Christmases because people are coming into town or people are leaving town or whatever the issue is.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Knishmas. I like it. I like Knishmas. Yeah, bring all the international foods. Knishmas. In all of that, think about the grace that is behind, the reason for the season, and how you can't actually appropriate any that grace doesn't mean anything if you're not grateful. That person that comes to give you a gift, if you think that they owe you a gift, just take it and be like, cool. Don't say thanks. Like, don't lie. I'm telling you, Back Pew, don't lie. If you're not thankful for that gift, do not say thank you. Like, that's a lie. If you think my mama owes me these AirPods, just take them.
Is that what you feel right now?
That's not what I feel. I'm saying that if I felt that way, I wouldn't lie. I've done that before.
Okay.
People would give me something and I don't say thank you. I'm like, cool.
Thank you. Oh, cool.
Preach. Like, I'm like, yeah, a head nod. I kind of say thank you.
You acknowledge it. You're just not thankful.
I acknowledge that you gave me something. You did your job. I'm not going to
cool.
say thank you for doing your job.
I like it.
It's a terrible attitude, but
yeah, I don't love it, but I hear you.
It's not my favorite, but I've used it before.
Sure.
Sometimes Haley tells me I'm mean. Sometimes.
Sometimes I say you're harsh.
Yeah, my mom asked me several times why I have friends.
I understand. Actually, but I was just thinking about you. And
pause.
And I was thinking, you know what? I think you've shown a lot of growth over the last couple of months. I think we had a couple of conversations, and I've noticed a big difference. And if anyone else has been on the podcast with us all the time, then I know that they can see it too. So I just want to celebrate you, right? And acknowledge your growth and say thank you.
Thank you.
Because you know what? Whenever you become your best self, it's not just you getting the benefits. Everyone around you that cares about you gets to reap the benefits too.
That's true.
And yeah, I've got to experience it. I think you've made the Back Pew better with your voice and the changes and the growth that you've experienced. And that's one of the reasons that we are taking the break, so we can continue to get better ourselves. And we want to, be better for the podcast.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to like kind of a fresh start. Like, hey, this is season 2.
Yeah,
we're here. You are here. We are here. So, but I'm excited for this holiday season. Me and Haley have had a really positive year. The Lord has blessed us throughout our lives, but we used to be able to be like, times are tough. We can count the good times on our hands, on our fingers. And now it's like, man, we have good time after good time. Like, we have blessing after blessing it's not that they weren't there before. It's that we're noticing them now. Yeah. We're in a better headspace. And
sure.
So it's not so much as much as I am praising God, I also am praising him for his patience. Like, thank you, Lord, for your patience. Like letting me and Haley get to this point. So I'm excited for this holiday season. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a good break, and I'm glad that I have thick and quick Will.
Hey,
thick and quick Buck.
Yeah, man.
Hit season 2 next year. Pause.
It's such a great season, man. Starting at Halloween, it's football season. It's freaking the fall time, hoodie weather, hot cocoa, chili, freaking
the World Series
spice,
was on around that time.
The World Series. You got Thanksgiving. You got freaking ugly sweater parties, Christmas, multiple Thanksgivings, multiple Christmases. You got New Year's. Like, man, it's so great. Fresh start. There's just such a grace in the atmosphere. Man, it's so cool. Like, everyone gets to be a little bit more generous around, So for you, if you're a server, expect bigger tips. If you're, whatever. If you're in the service industry, like, just, if you have some body cum fixture washing machine or your dishwasher, like, through the holidays, like, tip them. You know what I mean? Like, maybe be a little bit more generous, which is a whole nother conversation we should talk about in the future. Like, my mom always texts me, should I tip this guy? Like, because I've just blown their mind, right?
Yeah, I've had to talk to my mom a little bit.
She
made a 180. She was like, you know what, son, you're in it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna follow your advice. So I was like, thanks, Mom.
Well, that's just serving, but I'm talking about like, mechanics and service.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe not mechanics, but
it depends on what they're doing. If they come out to your house,
Oh yeah, there's definitely find a reason, but yeah, man, just be generous. You'll be much happier. Actually, a friend of mine was telling me that they are considering serving on Christmas, and I thought that was very noble. I don't ever like to do that. Actually, let's talk about that. I was talking to someone earlier, and I
when
told
you say
them,
serving on Christmas, what do you mean?
Oh, whatever, volunteering. I don't know. Like they're looking for a cause to serve in. Yeah, like I don't know, feed the homeless. I don't know.
Yeah,
and. Anyway, I was talking about, somebody said, are you going to church for Christmas? And I was like, absolutely not. And if I ever pastor, I'll never probably have church on Christmas. And I probably never will show up to a Christmas service on Christmas. Now, I'll go on Christmas Eve, but not Christmas Day. Like, to me, it's just a value in my family. It's been the one time a year where I'm always able to get my family together and actually spend some valuable time with them. And that's how we worship Christ. We definitely bring up Christ in the conversation. My family's not always been Christian, so I don't push my values on other people, especially when it's not my home. But now when they're in my home, maybe I can talk about Jesus a little bit more. But definitely it's all about how you worship the Lord. But like for me, it's like, me not going to church service while it's Christmas might sound wrong to some believers, but let me assure you, think what you like. I'm going to do what I want because this is what makes my holiday special and what makes me happy.
I'm going to do me.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong if I don't go to like a Christmas service on Christmas. Like,
I agree with you.
Like unless there's a group of people that really need to be brought in to a fold that like don't have anywhere to go, that's the only reason I want to get together with people. But that's also why I've invited people that didn't have family to my house through the years. That's always something that's happened. So
definitely.
That's a value that my I've grown up with. People have always come to my house on Christmas.
That's awesome, dude.
I love it.
Like when me and Haley have a house, we're definitely doing that because there's this girl at church and she's from out of state and she said that she was going back for Thanksgiving to see her family and stuff, but she'll be here by herself for Christmas. And I was like, and I kind of looked around and I was like, well, Haley's not here, so I can't like invite you to our Christmas, but my sister is right here and they don't cook, my mom and my sister. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna not, but I really wanted to be like, hey, just come over for at least for Christmas lunch. Like you don't have to stay.
Yeah.
Just come over, pray, break bread, and get out of here.
And listen, I've also been on the other side of it, right? Because I've been out here in Tulsa with no family for years, right? Not now. So I've been invited to a lot of family Thanksgivings. That like
we had a Rhema, one of my co-students at Rhema. He came over because Haley's family came up for Thanksgiving one year that I was up there, and he wasn't going home. So I was like, man, just leave the dorm, come get some grub.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's
he
plenty
cooked,
of food.
and I mean, it's a good time. That's a great thing. I'm happy to hear that. That's a great thing.
I never feel more love except for in the holidays, like Thanksgiving to Christmas. I always just feel it. I don't have to. It doesn't matter what's going on, especially when I'm extended invitations to people's homes, invite me in, and like I'm not their family. It's just so welcoming. It's so nice, and I've been
kind of annoying.
No, it's just so nice. I'm just grateful for it through the years, and even actually when I say not having my family, because it's just my mom for most of these years, and now my dad. I've been able to take my mom and my dad to people's, family Thanksgivings and things, and they just are welcomed too. So it's like now we don't have any other family out here in Oklahoma, so now we just go join other people. And it's just, I love hospitable people like that are willing to open their homes, and they do it big, and they have plenty, and it's just such a good time. Man, I love that. So if you can extend that to somebody else, I encourage you to do that for sure. For sure.
I when I was younger, when I was a kid, there were like 3 Thanksgivings in a row that my dad took me to with my aunt to the Hard Rock Cafe, because it's not a casino in Texas, but the Hard Rock Cafe in Houston, and we served the homeless like all day, and it was like a make my aunt look good in front of somebody thing. It was like a business thing or something like that. So, and I was too young to make any connections, but like if I had it now, I would definitely do it. I feel like 2020, man. We talked last time we talked about like my birthday. And you said, you have any goals? And I was like, no, not really for 26, but 2020 I have plenty of goals. Like I feel like 2020 is going to be a big year for me. So I can definitely see next year, this holiday season, be out there pouring soup for somebody, or running sandwiches and blankets around for somebody. I mean, I just don't have access to that outreach right now, and plans are already made. But come next season, that's one of my goals that I want to do. I want to do that, serve stuff.
And you know what else I always do is I always donate to John 3:16 here, always. Mm-hmm. Like at Christmas and Thanksgiving, because they send out an envelope and they say, $2 or $3 feeds one person, so give us $20, we feed 10, or whatever it says, And it's like, oh, if I can help somebody's Thanksgiving with a few dollars, I can spare that to help them have Thanksgiving, to help them provide. And man, I just love what they do so much. Yeah, I love that.
I was thinking, like, one thing I would do is, if I wasn't at home, like, one serving thing that I would do is go serve people at, like, Best Buy or Walmart or whatever on, like, Thanksgiving Day. Oh. Yeah. While they're waiting for the doors to open, because the doors open on Thanksgiving Day now. Right. Or at least around here they do. No, they do. And I want to go and, like, with those people in line, usually it's cold. If anything, it's uncomfortable. Just go out there and, like, have a bunch of water and some soda. And I don't know. That probably wouldn't be the best way to do it, but I feel like it would.
I know that. That's just kind of where I know that Global Ventures has done that for years as, like, a fundraiser. They've done that. I say fundraiser. I guess it's not missions, but it's still showing kindness, selling, like, hot chocolate and snacks to people that are in line. I mean, they've done it in the past. I never did it. So it's an idea that's out there.
Around here, I would definitely do tamales. I think people have done that. I think I remember buying tamales.
Hey, hot take. I had this really great moment with a friend the other day. I go, yeah, I don't really like tamales, and I hate that everyone keeps pushing them on me like I'm supposed to like it, and when I don't like it, everyone's upset with me. And they go, oh my God, I hate tamales too. And I was like, yes, my best friend. Freaking, the tamale hate is ridiculous. I just don't, man, I just like Tex-Mex. That's it. I grew up in Alabama. I had a really ridiculously, like, picky palate when I was a kid. So, like, through the last decade, I've grown to like all the things I do, which I'm pretty open for anything now. But still, there's stuff that I'm just not really in love with, like authentic Mexican food. Like, I know I'm going to change my mind at some point, and I keep trying, but every time it doesn't hit the bar.
Bro, you don't have to fake it. You don't have to fake. You don't have to.
No, I don't fake it. I just want to like it as much as everyone else, but I just don't. That's what I'm saying.
Don't want to like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. I don't like mole. Mole is literally chocolate and hot sauce. Ugh. Yeah, that's what I said. But anytime I tell a Mexican I don't like mole, they look at me with the most disgusting look.
Tahini.
Yeah. No, it's not tahini. Tahini is good. Oh. I like tahini. You put it on a watermelon, it's good. Mexican. Mole is disgusting. Mole is disgusting. And they look at me more angrily when they find out that I'm half Mexican and I grew up with it. Right. But, like, dude, I would go hungry.
Mew, 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 mew. Yeah, it sounds just like that to me.
No, it doesn't. Anyway.
Air horns.
I would go hungry.
At 2020, we're getting air horn. So I don't have to say mew, 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 mew. And I want gunshots.
What do you want, like, boom, 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 boom? Like, blah, or you want like a blah, blah,
No.
What do you want?
Blah. Yeah. Clip that.
No, I'm definitely putting that in there.
What? So listen. What are you gonna eat? Since let's not talk about what you like. What are you gonna eat for Thanksgiving and Christmas? What's your thing?
Thanksgiving is gonna be turkey, and it's gonna be stuffing.
So are you a turkey or a ham guy?
Turkey all the way.
Okay, I'm a ham guy. I'm a ham guy.
No thanks.
Or I have been historically.
Yeah, it used to be my thing, but it's definitely hasn't been.
I like a lot of desserts on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that's kind of the one day that I've been willing to gorge myself. Which, here's a fun fact: I'm losing weight again. In the last 3 weeks or so, I have lost 14 or 15 pounds.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thanks. Somebody said I've been learning some new words. Somebody said my face looks svelte. You know what that means?
Svelte?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a bad guy in Frozen?
Probably, but it's like slender. Like svelte. It's kind of a nice word. It's like suave or something. But anyway, so I'm losing weight, and so I'm on my diet, and I don't do cheat days. So I don't get to enjoy Thanksgiving this year, but I will make it. I don't. Yeah. So the way my diet plan works, I just can't. It slows down my progress. So I'm just not going to cheat for one day. I'll make up. It's just a day. So I'm actually just going to take my dad out because my mom is on the same diet, so neither one of us can have it. So we're going to have like lettuce and chicken or something, and then I'm going to take my dad out to.
You can't even have turkey. Turkey's healthy.
No, I mean, listen. There's a lot of things that are healthy that I just can't have on the way this diet works. I guess people hate it.
I'm not trying to hate. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to hate. I'm trying to understand. I thought turkey was healthy.
Listen, there's a lot of things that are healthy that like super duper. I can't have all fruits. I can't have all vegetables. Like I can't. There's just things that are super crazy because the way this diet works, the system, without getting into it, is wasting time. But it's super restrictive. Like I ate 3 pretzels about the size of a quarter. Like you know what I mean? Like pretzel bites.
I know what a quarter is. Yeah.
Last week, and it stalled me from losing weight for like 5 days. Like that's it. So any amount of sugar, any amount of salt, like anything that's not off the regimen, because I've done this diet a few times, and like if you don't do it exactly like they say, it actually doesn't work like they say it doesn't. Because everyone thinks they're smarter than this diet plan. Like, turkey's healthy, soup's healthy. Like, it's like everyone tells me everything. Oh, speaking of people telling me what I should be doing, dude, you know what? How much scrutiny I've been getting for? I asked somebody earlier. Somebody said, "Will, when's the last time you had sex?" I said, "Bro, long time. Like you can't imagine." And I told them, and they just went. They had to leave the room. They didn't know how to answer. They just couldn't understand. Now they're a married person, but they also don't have the exact values system that I do. So, anyway, I've gotten so much scrutiny about not having sex in the last couple weeks. It's ridiculous. So listen, I just want to encourage all the people out there trying to keep themselves pure for their companion someday.
Don't look away from the camera.
Just save yourself from marriage. It's like the gravel in the mouth thing. The sin is sweet for a moment, but listen, it's going to end up in hurt.
You're going to get kicked in the mouth.
And guess what? You're not going to have any babies you don't want. You're not going to catch any STDs. You're not going to be involved in a relationship that you don't want to be in forever. Just save yourself. It's a beautiful.
There are some days that you're probably not going to want to be in that relationship. Anyway.
I'm sure.
Hey, Will.
What do you want to know? I'll look you right in the eye. Go ahead.
Look me in the eye. When's the last time you had sex?
2006, August 20-something.
I didn't.
Couple of nights before I went to rehab.
I was more joking than anything.
Been serious? But I just wanted you to know, I have kept myself pure this whole time.
I'm
I'm awesome.
Let's have a round of applause. Round of applause for your boy.
I freaking will celebrate myself. You know what I'm saying?
You got to celebrate yourself because ain't nobody else doing it because you ain't having sex with nobody.
And because I've been getting so much scrutiny about it, I've been thinking, like, do you know how much opportunity is right before me all the time? Like, quite a bit. And not just, like, potential opportunity. Like, plain opportunity, especially like when I was DJing and Ubering, it's just like
I do remember the stories.
I mean there's just a few, you know what I mean? Look, but when I was DJing, it was a lot too. I'm just saying, it's out here.
I don't know. I kind of wish you would be a little cocky like Kanye was when he was like, the greatest artist that God ever created is now working for him. Like, and then he just kind of was like, yeah. Like I wish you would
cocky
be a little
about
cocky about it.
Let me do it. I'll do it because I actually probably feel that way, maybe. But tell me, I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say.
Cocky
I wish
about
you would
what?
be cocky about it.
Like, I ain't had sex in like 2000 since 2006.
The greatest person that God ever made to have sex is
I'm the
doing it. He's saving himself for his wife.
I'm the greatest pure non-having sex person ever do it or not do it.
Boom.
I'm the greatest purest Christian that to ever not do it.
Boom. And then just sit back and be like,
It's funny.
Pay $500 to come see me at Lakewood.
Hey, listen, so let's talk about that. What do you think about that? Because I was excited.
I thought it was pretty cool. What I was like more looking forward to was my mom actually going. She didn't go, but she was really talking about it. She was like, "I'll go if you go," and I'm like, "I'm not going. I don't want to see either of those people, so I'm not going to go. Like, I'm not going to fight through Houston to the other side of town to see these people. I'm not. They're live streaming it. Why would I do that? Like, I mean,
have you watched it?
Yeah, I watched it.
I hadn't watched it yet. So I know he spoke in the morning for a couple of minutes, and it was pretty cool. Listen, I loved it. The parts that I've seen online have been so cool. Like I just think that it actually is impacting people. I'm sure the Sunday service was dope as always. I'm going to watch it, but I don't know, man. I just see, like, man, Kanye, because I listen to both sides, right? It's funny. People call me one of the holy rollers, but then I'm also on the hip hop side. So I kind of keep this sounds bad if you've been in the church world a while, because what I'm about to say, but it's like I have one foot in both worlds, right? Sounds like you're on the fence, right? But that's really not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I pay attention. I'm out here. I'm in these streets. Like there's a 14-year-old guy that his name's Blaze. I think he listens to the podcast, so shout out to you if you listen. I know he likes our stuff, so thanks anyway. And so he was telling me, I was telling my dad, yo, Dad, you know what that slaps means? And I was like, and I think he didn't think I would know either, because apparently I'm old, Ethan, because this kid's 14, so I'm more than double his age. Yeah, I'm double plus 4. So anyway, he was like,
really
so you know what that slaps means? And I was like, yeah. But anyway, I'm out here, and so I just hear all the scrutiny that Joe Button and like actually Joe Button is not, but I know a lot of people that actually aren't on podcasts that says stuff, and man, people just really hate on Kanye right now, and it has nothing to do with their Christianity. Now, here's somebody that I don't think hates Kanye, but here's a hot take, and I want to hear your rebuttal. Actually, I'll call Rob Sexton out. He's a fan of ours, so thanks for the support. He said, man, I know you've been talking about Kanye, and I wanted to call you and talk to you about it. And he said, you know what, here's where I'm at with it. He goes, I think Christians are beginning to put Kanye on a pedestal and maybe worship him. And I think that I'm afraid that if he messes up, it's going to hurt the church.
I have no rebuttal because I completely agree.
You think? So actually, I don't think they might be putting him on a pedestal. That might be true. I don't think that people have gone as far as worshiping him yet. And actually, I do want to say that I think that people are actually worshiping Christ. I think more people are worshiping Christ because of Kanye than actually people celebrating Kanye, right? I think the church is excited about what God's doing in his life and how he's affecting change. So I don't know. I think it's a little unhealthy. And listen, if you got saved today and you had no ministry, and then 4 months later you had a bigger ministry than me, I would be excited for you. I would be concerned, but I wouldn't voice it out loud. I would probably reach out to you, and if I couldn't reach out to you, I'd probably pray for you, and I would just celebrate that you're impacting people. Like, think about Todd White, dude. He hasn't been saved. I've been in doing ministry for longer than he's been saved, right? But his ministry and influence is like crazy. Like, it hit me a couple of years ago, and I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, God just gives people opportunities. So our journey's different, whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not about that for me. It's that if he falls off, all these people who were touting this great Christianity or great attention to the church, right, they're going to fall off too.
But see, here's the thing, right? I understand that things could be hurtful, and that's why you don't want to elevate.
I hope that he's good.
Sure.
I hope the best. I do pray for him. I pray for Joel Osteen and everybody else. But
listen, I've seen leaders promoted too early and take it, and also I've seen leaders not get promoted early enough. Now, so I believe there is a lot of danger in having a platform when you're not ready. I totally agree with that. I see that leaders fall and never reach their capacity because they got elevated too quickly. I totally understand that and believe that way. But Kanye is in a different boat. When people are already celebrities and they already have a platform, and now they just use their platform, like, I think it's a little bit different.
And I don't mean fall off like he's a preacher who's going to say something wrong. I mean, as in he's trying to be this leader, and he is being this leader, and then he goes straight up astray. That's what I'm talking about.
Here's the thing. I think
straight up astray.
Here's the thing. He has brought. I argued this with Rob. You know, it's like, actually people are. Or maybe it was you. Actually, I think Kanye's being super wise in following. I think probably leadership's direction, because even though his name is on it and he draws the crowd, he's actually not leading the salvation prayer. He's not the one preaching. He barely sings. He just is there celebrating, worshiping, having a good time, drawing crowds.
I don't know. I don't have any reason to disagree with you, and I don't. I just was super cautious about it. Like, I just don't. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon.
But what are you cautious for? Like, what are you cautious about?
I feel like because he's shown himself in the past before this transformation to be egotistical and
he's the most egotistical person I've ever seen.
Yeah, because he's Kanye, right? So in being Kanye before,
if I told you right now that I'm the greatest podcaster to ever podcast, no one would listen to me again.
Right.
Probably because I'm actually not. Kanye is debatably one of the best artists, but still, to say it out loud, I don't think you should toot your own horn that hard.
Right. What I'm saying is, if he just, I don't know, I feel like if he trips up All these other people are going to trip up, and I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm not jumping on
Well,
that
listen, I'll
bandwagon.
just
My relationship with Christ was great before he became a Christian, so I don't need that. I think it's great what he's doing. I think it's great that people are questioning their faith or questioning the lack of faith that they have, whatever. I think that's great. I live for, great. There's a million people doing that, and he has influence that he's reaching people that I can't reach. I totally give kudos for that, but I'm not going to sit here and clap for him. Every Christian needs to do that. So they need to do 100%. They need to give everything. He's doing that. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Well, I'm excited for Kanye.
I stand beside you.
I love what he's doing. I'm not worried about it because here's what Paul the Apostle. Let's just go to the Word. By the way, anything that you're unsure of or you want to have a debate with somebody about, listen, just go to the Word. Any annoying, actually, it can be annoying when people do this, but here's the facts. None of our opinions matter. Just go to the Word, right? See what the Word says. Here's what Paul the Apostle said about it. Hey, it doesn't matter if they're even like in this isn't the same exact context, but it applies. It's applicable, right? Paul said, as long as Christ is being preached, I don't care if they're doing it for monetary gain, if they're doing it for the wrong reasons or motives, as long as Christ is being preached. So that's my opinion on it. Like, he's making an impact in this moment. Like, I don't know. I have nothing wrong with it. Matter of fact, did you see the picture where Dr. Dre and him were there and it said Jesus is King coming too? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I do want to say that it was strategically, and Dr. Dre is the one that posted it. So, and I don't understand because I don't know if you saw this, but actually it says that he's lost his vision due to diabetes, which is crazy. But he has his ears because he has Beats by Dre, like what I'm wearing now. And
endorsement deal.
Yeah. So holla at your boy, Back Pew. So he has that, but Dr. Dre strategically posted that. I don't think he planned to, but then after Kanye was blowing up on the internet, going viral, saying, now I'm bringing all the greatest artists and producers ever to ever do it back to God. Now Dr. Dre posted it, and I thought he basically validated what Kanye was saying and like agreed with him. He basically validated what Kanye said in front of Lakewood and everyone that watched the live stream. So I thought it was pretty cool actually on Dr. Dre's part, but I don't know how he's producing with no vision. So.
I don't know. He probably pays somebody to do it, and he just sits there and listens. But it's not that I'm against it. It's that I'm not I don't have no horse in the race. You know what I mean? I have no dog in the fight when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's why I'm not worried about it. I don't either.
Yeah. I don't know. Like the Paul thing, when he said that, he was actually saying it in caution, like, don't not let them do it. But don't do that yourself, kind of thing. Don't.
That's actually not what he. That's not the context of that. If
somebody was doing it though, like
I don't believe that's the context.
He's doing it. It's a cautionary tale.
No, actually, he's in prison and he's writing to them, and because he's heard about what's been going on, and he's encouraging them. It's okay because at least Christ is being preached. Like it's okay because they're actually still doing the work. He's like, let it go. It's not a cautionary tale.
Oh, I'm thinking of Corinthians.
I don't remember where this is, but I think this is Corinthians too. But I don't know. We'll have to fact check. But
he wasn't in prison in Corinthians.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I don't know. So anyway,
he said it a couple times, but like when he was like, if as long as Christ be glorified, like I thought I know which verse you're talking about. But
no, we're talking about different.
The one that I'm thinking of, we're talking about different ones. It was like cautionary, like don't do it for monetary gain. But if it does happen like that, cool. God's getting glorified. And that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like,
because my thing is even the person that didn't know Christ at all, but then went to a Sunday service, or now because they were a Kanye fan, now they love God, whatever, air quotes, or whatever. Now they're on the Jesus bandwagon, whatever it is. And then now Kanye, 2 weeks from now, he hates Jesus now. He was wrong and had a bipolar episode, whatever. Now that person doesn't do anything. Here's the thing. Seeds of Christ were still planted, and you can't undervalue the value of a seed. That's true. Just, by the way, not just talking about protecting your peace, but also the seeds that you're going to plant. So be love, even if you don't have any trouble with your relationships, that while you're there with whoever you are with over the holidays or whenever, like just even when you're at work today or whoever you're talking to, like, let me tell you, I've been so much more intentional lately in praying, like, God, make me a blessing. Lord, who needs a touch from you? Who needs to experience your love? Who needs to be built up? When I was at Rhema, people went around talking about, what's up, mighty man of God, man? What's up, woman of God? What's up, man of valor? valor. Like it was all this because you talk about like speaking words into existence and then, you know, building people up and edifying people and like let your words be seasoned with grace, the scripture says. So it's like just encourage people. Your words have so much value, especially when you spend time in the presence of God, because you probably, whether you know it or not, it may not seem like it in the moment, but once you spend more time in the presence of God and the Word of God, and then you start to allow yourself and ask and pray to God, like, God, use me as a vessel, think through my mind, speak through my mouth, and then all of a sudden you start speaking to people and you encourage. Like I noticed the first thing that I said this morning when I came in was, hey, I love your dress. That's awesome. I love your new dress, right? To a girl up front. And it was just like, I could, after the fact, I almost sensed the Holy Ghost on it. And I was just blurting out something, you know? And it's like God will use you in ways that you're not even really aware of when you're sensitive and yield to him. But other times you might know. So my point is, hey, listen, if you've been praying for your family member for a decade now and they're still not loving Christ or still not off drugs, like don't undermine or undervalue the value of a seed, because that love that you keep showing them, that prayer that you keep praying for people, the encouragement that you give them, the word from God that you got from church that you share with them, like whatever it is that God gave you, that text that you sent that person yesterday morning, like it is working. You just have to trust God that a seed produces a harvest, and God is faithful to, you know, water. Like what was this? Who plants, waters, and
Apollos.
Yeah, Apollos plants.
Paul planted, Apollos watered. Christ gave the growth.
Here's how I know I hadn't been in my Bible.
Increase.
Like I used to be. I should know that. There's a lot of things that I should really know backwards and forwards with the blindfold on that I can't remember sometimes. And it's like, yeah, it's probably because
I'm that way too.
No, I'm not that way.
I mix up my scriptures sometimes. Like,
that happens.
I'll start remembering one and like citing it, and then I'll start citing another one, and I'm like, yeah, that's in there, right? And then some people are like, no, that's in Psalms, bro. That's somewhere else.
It's in the Bible.
I am a Bible school student, I promise.
Yeah, I don't promote that too often, especially, man. I'll tell you what.
No, I try to keep it under wraps. Yeah,
for sure.
No, I'm kidding.
I work in insurance.
Yeah, my mom's
which
definitely
is
gonna give
just
me
as bad,
flack
by the
for that
way.
one.
People hate insurance people just as much as they hate Rhema people or Bible students.
Preachers in general, yeah.
Like, matter of fact, earlier somebody was like, I was listening to Elevation Worship, Do It Again. Man, I love their stuff. And somebody was like, yo, Will, is that Christian music? I was like, yeah, fam, you get this. He was like, nah, bro, you know I don't like that. And I was like, nah, you'll like it. He was like, stop lying to yourself or me. I was like, lying. You're right. I changed my mind. You don't like it. You don't like it. You don't want it. But man, worship really does it. Like I have been making it a point, like, cause I've been doing good with keeping my word in, but then like I was letting my worship time, and dude, it just does so much difference for my soul whenever I actually spend time praying and worshiping. You know?
I completely agree.
It's just so much different.
I see the difference when I go from just praying or just reading to
all of
praying, worshiping, and just kind of incorporating it all. And really, I mean, you can spend the same amount of time doing it, just kind of layer it like a cake.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of put it all together. But yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for this holiday. I'm excited for the break. I'm excited for the growth, and I'm super thankful that everybody that is here on this 40 millionth episode of the Back Pew podcast made it this far. You know, Kudos to you.
All the new listeners, shout out to you. All the first and last time listeners, shout out to you.
Mom.
I don't think this is her first or her last time, but.
Oh yeah.
So we ready to wrap up?
Oh yeah, wrap it up. Put a little bow on it.
Well, listen,
Christmas time.
We
Don't be Christmas time.
Cherish your listening. We cherish your viewership. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing clips of ours. Thank you for telling people about our podcast. Tell people about this podcast if you were encouraged. I think this should be our most listened to podcast that we've ever had, because there's just so much good stuff, and there's going to be a lot of weeks without new episodes. So this podcast can live from now when it comes out to the end of the year. I want you to share it. I want you to copy the link from your podcast or YouTube, wherever you're consuming it, and I want you to send it to 5 people. Like, send it to 5 people. Tell them to watch. Maybe figure out which clip you want them to watch. Tell them to subscribe. Anyway, whatever you do, like, thank you for listening. man. We really value you. Like, we think about you all the time whenever we're here. Like, this does take a lot of effort, so we do it for y'all. We enjoy it too. Somebody asked me, hey, Strong Life, somebody said, hey, I want to do a podcast on like a weird day. Is there any days off limits? I was like, what are you talking about? Like Christmas or Thanksgiving? And he was like, nah. And I was like, oh, well, no problem. But if you want to do one on Thanksgiving or Christmas, I'm probably down too. Like, that'd be cool, you know?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So anyway, man, stay tuned.
Be
I'm going to try to do some personal content, not like for the podcast. So stay tuned. Follow me at God's Will 414 on Twitter and Instagram. Ethan, what is your Instagram? And I know you don't
Instagram's it's Ethan M, ETHAN EMMM, triple N, Ethan M. That's my Instagram, and I think that's my Facebook one too, because you can do the username now.
Yeah.
On Facebook. But yeah, super grateful that all of y'all came through. Be sure to hit the like button on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube or iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're listening. And if you want to reach out to us, you are more than welcome to hit us up on any of the direct messages on any of the social media. You can email us backpewpodcast@gmail.com. You can text BPP to 33655. We'll get your number. We'll reach back out. We'd love to connect with you. Just let us know the things that you want to see in season 2. Maybe we can have a conversation about something if you're going back through an older episode or old clip or something like that. We'd love to connect with you about that. We'd love to argue with you, debate with you, hear your point of view.
Encourage you.
We're not the be all end all. And of course, like Will said, encouragement. If you need prayer, please do not hesitate to hit us up.
33655
33655 BPP. To
Text
33655. What's your
hit
God's
us with that
will?
prayer
What?
request. God's Will 414.
414. God's Will 414. Hit us up and let us know what you need. We are here for you. Back Pew Podcast. Anything else, Will?
Yeah, man. Just have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great Christmas. Be praying for your 2020. I don't care how this year went. Freaking use this time to reflect on every good thing that you've ever had happen in 2019. There is a lot of good things that we take for granted all the time because they don't make us uncomfortable. So just take time, like thank God for the weather. Thank God for your dog.
Yeah.
Thank God for pants, like weird stuff. Like if you can get into a mental space in your heart to just be grateful, I assure you that gratitude is going to bless your life more than you can realize. So use this.
It'll almost annoy you.
Yeah, I'm going to do this thing.
Just like start listed things and I'm like, okay, I need to shut up.
Hey, I'll challenge you right now, Ethan. I want to challenge you and the listeners. Until Thanksgiving Day, let's put at least one thing we're thankful for on Facebook.
Let's do it, man.
You done? All right, cool. And you can tag us, Back Pew. Back Pew thanks. How about that? Thanks, Back Pew.
What, hashtag?
Yeah.
Hashtag thanks, Back Pew.
Cool.
No, Back Pew thanks. I like Back Pew thanks because thanks, Back Pew sounds like we did it.
I know. That's kind of wild.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You think you're funny. You're not.
Anyway, but thank you guys. I hope you have a fabulous holiday. Let's just plan on having a fantastic 2020. And we'll see you at the first week of January 2020. See you then.
Peace, bro.
Peace. Dope.
Dip.